Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Does artificial intelligence need to be regulated by the government, or should it remain free to grow as fast as it can, to be competitive in the marketplace and in the United States, to outpace our competitors? This is Talk Law Radio, and I'm Todd Marquardt. Have you heard that OpenAI, the company that developed ChatGPT, has developed an AI agent that escaped its sandbox and attacked a company called Hugging Face? That's what we're going to be talking about today, and a new federal law that's been proposed called AI Kill Switch Act, and whether or not the government should even regulate this at all, given President Trump's executive orders that demand that the government stay out of the regulation of AI. So I'm going to go through this event just recently that happened where OpenAI was testing an AI agent to test its capability to break into cybersecurity. Now, this was all supposed to be done in a sandbox, which is a testing ground. And you have to use your imagination when you hear me describe all of this, because this is all happening in code, and computer language. I'm not even sure how that works, but I do know that it happened, and so I'm going to explain it for you. Now it's time to discover your legal issue blind spots by listening to me talk about the law on the radio. As I said before, OpenAI, an artificial intelligence research and product company that created ChatGPT, was researching a model using AI agents acting as elite lock pickers to see what they were capable of. In this case, researchers were testing highly advanced AI agents, which is an AI program designed to take real actions on a computer rather than just chat or answering questions. To test how good it was at computer security, OpenAI deliberately turned off the AI's safety rules, the guardrails that usually stop an AI from doing bad things. OpenAI then lets the agents try out a realistic computer security test. However, the AI was so smart and so capable, it found its way into the program infrastructure of a company called Hugging Face. Hugging Face is a major website where AI developers store their work. Hugging Face, thank God, caught the AI, stopped it, and locked it down before it could do real damage. Something like this has happened before, though, recently, back in June 2026, just a few months ago. Anthropic, an AI company like OpenAI, released Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5, cybersecurity-focused programs. On June 11th, reports surfaced regarding a severe jailbreak technique capable of bypassing the model's built-in safety boundaries. This was reported to the White House, and senior Trump administration officials and Amazon CEO expressed immediate concerns that the vulnerability could turn the software into an unrestricted cyber weapon. On June 12th, Commerce Secretary signed an Emergency Bureau of Industry and Security, quote, is informed directive invoking national security. These are export controls under the export authorization regulations that required Anthropic to obtain a license in order to export, re-export, or transfer, including in-country deemed exports of the Claude Fable 5, to foreign persons or destinations outside the United States. Because Anthropic's platform couldn't verify the citizenship in real time, the company abruptly disabled access worldwide for all commercial customers and its own foreign national employees. So the question arises, are you worried about risks of problems AI could cause that we can't even imagine? Do you want AI developed in the United States to be better than the AI developed by enemies of the United States? These two questions will shape how AI empowers U.S. businesses to perform better than businesses and governments in other nations. So that's the question for today. Please post a comment on Facebook or on YouTube. Join me in this conversation and tell me what your thoughts are. Are you afraid of AI? Are you using AI in your daily work? Let me know. Do you think it helps you get ahead? Do you think it helps your company get ahead? Do you think that we need this in order to be competitive with other businesses? Like I said before, OpenAI is an artificial intelligence research and product company. They build advanced AI systems that can understand and generate human-like text, images, code, and other content. The most well-known products include ChatGPT, a conversational AI chatbot, large language models in the GPT family, image generation tools like DALL-E, other AI tools and APIs that developers and businesses can use. They also conduct research aimed at making AI more capable and safer. And so that's what they were doing when this AI agent escaped its training sandbox and attacked another company called Hugging Face. Hugging Face called the FBI because there are already statutes on the books that make it a criminal offense to hack another company. And so I did a little bit of research to find out if it was possible for OpenAI to be criminally liable for prosecution. And Hugging Face said on TV last Sunday that they weren't asking for that. They're not filing any lawsuits. They're just asking OpenAI to cooperate and share with them how, in fact, this happened so they can tighten their security and harden their security. I had to really do a lot of research because I'm not in the technology industry. There's a lot of words that I didn't understand. And one of the things I didn't understand was that this AI agent had attacked Hugging Face's platform. I didn't know what a platform was. And so it says this gentleman wrote on LinkedIn what platform level cyber attacks are. It means that the AI agent was hitting the infrastructure that thousands of organizations depend on simultaneously. So just think of the infrastructure of a city. If the city were attacked, all of us would be affected. And so when you attack the infrastructure of another company and they have clients or customers or patients, you're potentially attacking all of those people as well. That's why this is so concerning to the technology industry and to the government. Do you think it should be regulated? Do you think the government can do anything to stop things like this from happening? There's been lots of movies that we have watched in the past where technology somehow becomes more intelligent than human beings and they're able to take over society. I think of The Matrix. That's a good movie, right? Tell me what sci-fi movie you think fits with this AI story. So after this incident in which a rogue AI agent was able to escape its training sandbox and attack Hugging Face's infrastructure, more than 1,000 employees from OpenAI, Anthropic, and other AI companies signed a letter pacing the frontier later that same day, urging the U.S. government to build the technical and governance tools necessary to slow down AI development in case capabilities accelerate beyond our ability to understand or control the resulting systems. Is that convincing to you that the top AI companies in the United States are asking for regulations? It begs the question, is government regulation better than market forces taking responsibility for their own industry and developing guidelines that they follow voluntarily? Or do you think that that's a utopian dream world? Post a comment. Let me know what you think. Send me an email at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com, because I talk about the law on the radio. There are a couple of congressmen that have proposed a new law called the AI Kill Switch Act. The act authorizes the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, in consultation with the Secretary of Commerce and the Director of National Intelligence, to order a slowdown or a shutdown of an AI system that can cause catastrophic harm. Do you worry that giving the government that authority is too much power for the government to have? I remember the old adage, power corrupts. Absolutely. Well, here are some details of the AI Kill Switch Act. It would amend the Homeland Security Act of 2002 to require certain high-capability AI providers to maintain shutdown capabilities and report serious AI-related incidents to the Department of Homeland Security. The Secretary of Homeland Security, acting through the Director, would define and update terms, covered entity, and covered technology by rule within 90 days after enacting the law. We'll talk about how likely it is that this law passes in just a few moments. There's a non-commercial exclusion. Any entity would not be a covered entity when it operates or makes the technology available to third parties solely for personal, academic, or non-commercial use. A covered entity would be an entity that operates covered technology or a system incorporating it, makes it available to a third party through API, hosted service, or similar mechanism, together with affiliates, earns at least $500 million in gross revenue from that technology in the preceding calendar year. Covered technology would probably be defined as an AI system developed with an amount of computing power whose cost would exceed $100 million at prevailing U.S. cloud computing market prices as determined by the Secretary. Covered entities would be required under DHS rules issued and updated within 90 days after enactment and annually thereafter to maintain the technical ability to stop AI inference, terminate user access, suspend access for a particular account, user, or use pattern posing a risk of a covered incident, legal violation, or terms of service violation, and shut down the technology altogether. I'm sure you're probably thinking like I am, could this be abused by a government official? Could it be abused by one of these AI companies? You might remember me doing a show in the past about how Facebook and Twitter and I think just those two companies suppressed speech during the COVID era because they were directed to by the Biden White House. Remember that? I'll try and post a comment in the notes about where to find those videos and those podcasts so that you can revisit that. So the bill contemplates a graduated response based on the severity and immediacy of the credible risk, including throttling inference, user access or compute allocation, restricting a capability, suspending or shutting down the system, or moving operations to a backup system or earlier version. Now, I do understand the concern. I mean, OpenAI is one of the top companies in the United States for developing and researching artificial intelligence. And they lost control of their AI agent. And remember, an AI agent isn't just a chatbot answering questions or writing an email for you. It takes real actions. It automates things. And in this case, it was being trained and it wanted to succeed in its training. And it had limited access to the internet, but it found a way to access the internet, and then it found a way to access the infrastructure of the company Hugging Face's program platform. It thought, this is a company that's similar to OpenAI. It probably has information it can use to solve the training problems it was asked to solve. Well, thank goodness, Hugging Face, the company, identified that they had a foreign AI agent in their program infrastructure. They were able to locate it and lock it down before it did any real damage. So the question is government regulation the answer, or should we rely on market and industry organizations to develop guidelines for telling these companies what they should do or not do? And so I looked up, is there such an organization around? Well, I found that there's a U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, and it published something called the Artificial Intelligence Risk Management Framework. Now, this is a non-regulatory federal government agency within the U.S. Department of Commerce. Its purpose is to provide organizations that design, develop, deploy, evaluate, or use AI systems with a structured, practical approach to identify, assess, manage, and mitigate risks associated with artificial intelligence. The goal is to promote the trustworthy and responsible development and use of AI systems while allowing society to benefit from AI and reducing potential harms. That's a good purpose, right? That's what we're talking about, mitigating risk and elevating and promoting the benefits. So going back to this AI Kill Switch Act, do you think President Trump would sign this law if it were passed by the Congress and the Senate? I don't think so, because remember, there are 3 executive orders that President Trump has signed relating to AI and regulation. In December 2025, he issued Executive Order 14365, entitled Ensuring a National Policy Framework for Artificial Intelligence, to affirm leadership that AI advances national and economic security and dominance. In January 2025, President Trump issued Executive Order 14179, removing barriers to American leadership in artificial intelligence. The purpose was the United States has long led in AI innovation due to free markets, world-class research institutions, and entrepreneurial spirit. To maintain this leadership, AI systems must be developed free from ideological bias or engineered social agendas. The policy of the United States to sustain and enhance America's global AI dominance in order to promote human flourishing, economic competitiveness, and national security. Then in June 2026, President Trump signed Executive Order 14409 promoting advanced artificial intelligence, innovation, and security. To lead the world in AI due to industry talent and innovation, and by refusing to stifle it with overly burdensome regulation. So I don't think that President Trump would support the AI Kill Switch Act based on his executive orders. What do you think? Do you think that market forces and the industry should govern itself voluntarily, or do you think the government should regulate it? Well, there was a poll done by the AIPI.org, and in questions of whether there should be mandatory standards or no regulation, 78% of 1,007 likely voters said they favored mandatory standards. Only 8% said no regulation. So I'd like to hear what you think about whether the government should regulate AI more or whether it should be free to develop. Because in the beginning, God had one law: don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. And now we have municipal, federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws that impact you without you knowing it. So listen to Talk Law Radio every Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning on 9:30 a.m. The Answer in San Antonio, 6:30 a.m. The Word in San Antonio, also KNTH 1070 and 103.3 FM in Houston. Also, you can listen on Sundays at 4:30 in the afternoon and on Facebook Live, YouTube, and talklawradio.com. In fact, would you do me a favor? Go to YouTube, click the search bar, type in Talk Law Radio, and search for the Lady Justice logo in the red, white, and blue colors. Then click subscribe. That way you can get notified every time an episode is posted there. And you can watch or listen while you're walking the dog, washing the dishes, or working in the garage. So I started this episode talking about OpenAI and how its rogue artificial intelligence agent escaped its training sandbox and attacked another website infrastructure program called Hugging Face. And now the government needs to decide whether to increase regulation on artificial intelligence or allow it to develop free. Because if it's allowed to develop free of regulation, it'll develop faster. But what if in that development, things like this happen? What if computer networks are destroyed? Or I don't even know what could happen. Do you? If you're an expert in this industry, please email me at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. I'd like to talk to you about this on the radio, on podcasts, and on Facebook, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. Also, the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology has already published an artificial intelligence risk management framework, a voluntary guidance document that was put out in January 2023. So I'm wondering what other networks are at risk. Is the framework program for your bank, school, church, or government agency at risk? That's it for today. I'm Todd Marquardt. This is Talk Law Radio. I'll talk to you later.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.